Hey friends, it's me again, Joel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Energy Express. Today we're gonna have a lot of fun. Do you hear that noise? It sounds like frogs. Let's go over to our friend Sheldon and see what all this noise is about.
Hello everybody, I'm Sheldon Owen, Extension Wildlife Specialist with West Virginia University, and tonight we're out chasing frogs. Exciting times. Hopefully you can hear some in the background now. We are surrounded by spring peepers. Across West Virginia we have 14 different frog and toad species. 3 different toad species and 11 other frog species can be found here in the state. They don't all occur across the state, so depending on where you are, you may find different species, but some of the very common ones, the most common ones you'll find, one is the spring peeper. You can hear them peeping in the background. It's one of our early frogs that would be calling here in West Virginia. So wherever you are, you'll probably hear something like that. One exciting thing we can do this summer is go outside and listen and try to find the different frogs that we can hear calling. We can identify all of our 14 different frogs here in West Virginia by their calls. So this is a great opportunity to get out and learn how they sound, and then to actually go out and find them. So you can listen to their sounds and try to track them down. It sounds like it'll be easy because they're calling all around us right now, but it's going to be pretty difficult. Some of these are pretty hard to find, even as loud as they are calling right now. These are the males calling. They're actually trying to attract a mate at this time. So what you're hearing is that peeping sound. Those are the males that are out trying to project their voices, trying to attract a mate. And they'll be calling pretty much, throughout the spring, even into the summer months as we go forward. All right, so now it's time for our exciting adventure. We're actually going out to find some frogs and toads. We're trying to identify what is actually calling out there in your backyard or on your farm, on your property. You'll need a few tools though to actually go out there and find these things. A good flashlight, maybe a headlamp. I recommend you take your phone or some camera that you can go out there and actually take a picture. You can record the sound or even take a picture of it so we can identify that later if you don't know exactly what it is at this time. And a lot of our frogs and toads are associated with water, and so you may need a pair of knee boots or rubber boots to help you get in a little bit of that water to actually find some of these out there. So this is going to be a fun time. We're going to go out and see if we can find some of these spring peepers that are calling so we can show you a good picture of them. So this is a great opportunity for you to grab your friends, grab your family, your mom, dad, grandmother, granddad, aunts, uncles, brothers and sisters, whoever. Get them outside, start listening, see what you can find in your backyard, and go on a small adventure and see if you can identify some of these frogs that are making these songs or making these calls at night. You can hear frogs and toads calling throughout the day, but the best time to go out and find them are at dusk. After the sun goes down, right before it gets dark, and even into the night, we can hear these things calling. It's a great time to get out there and find them. This is the time that you can go on that nighttime adventure and see what you can find out there in your backyard. All right, hopefully you can hear that. We have multiple spring peepers calling all around us. You think because they're so loud they should be easy to find, but sometimes it can be quite difficult. So we've got our handy dandy flashlight or headlamp, and we're going to see if we can't track one of these things down for you tonight. You should be able to hear that right now. We are in the thick of it. Right after dusk. We're right in the edge of the woods, have a wetland right below us, a little sort of ephemeral stream running through here, and there are spring peepers calling all around us. You hear that peeping going on? We are surrounded. I know that sounds like we got 3 or 4 just right here beside us. A spring peeper is a tree frog, and so they may actually be up in the vegetation, a little bit off the ground, calling at this time of year. So let's take a look. I think we've got one pinpointed right over here, so let's see if we can't get in here and try to find this one. We'll see if we can't get a good photo for you. All right, I think I've got one right over here. All right, here's a good one. Calling on us. You can see that on the stick there. This spring peeper's found a little perch and it's just calling its heart out. Maybe you can see the vocal sac is extended there. That's just the bottom of the mouth cavity that they use to amplify their sound. So as they're blowing air out over the vocal cords to make that peeping sound, that vocal sac is just used like a megaphone to amplify the sound. The spring peeper again. Hopefully you can see that X on its back, the cross on its back. That helps us identify this as the spring peeper. But you can see how small it is. It's only an inch and a quarter long from the nose to its tail. Right there. Oh yeah, see? Little size comparison. There's my wife's finger. There's the X on its back. Again, one of our tree frogs, commonly found here in West Virginia. All right, when you're out exploring looking for frogs, you never know what you're going to run into. So here we have a redback salamander. As you see the red on its back, very common salamander found here in the uplands of West Virginia. Again, this is an amphibian, so it has dual life, which means part of its life spent near or around in water, the other part is spent on land. Another cool find. All right, exciting times out here, everyone. We're in the middle of a little wetland here on Peddler Wildlife Management Area. You can hear spring peepers calling. You can hear that kind of low growl sound that you hear. That's a gray tree frog. So we've got gray tree frogs, spring peepers. I've heard green frogs calling, and also some American toads calling. But let's look, I think right here in front of us, we have a gray tree frog. Oh, and here it is, folks. See if can I move that back? How about that? It's on low. How about that, everybody? You hear the growl in the background. That's one calling. This is just another one. Because we've kind of startled it, it's not calling right now. I hear one right behind you though.
Can you pick him up, Sean?
Okay. All right, everybody, you ready? This is the fun. You can see the yellow on the inside of its legs. There it is, folks. Gray tree frog. Exciting, exciting times down here in the wetlands of West Virginia.
Let me see his back.
Back a little bit right there. I try to turn it up. You can see the little toe pads. These are tree frogs, and so they're normally up climbing on trees. So you can see the little toe pads there. A little bit different from our other frogs, our toads and bullfrogs and green frogs. Let's see if I can turn him over. Maybe you can see the yellow on the inside of its legs. Oh,
Oh my gosh. It's in my
luckily.
Hold your light for me. Oh yeah. See all the yellow down the inside of his legs? Sheldon can't talk because he's got a flashlight.
Hold the flashlight.
He's holding the flashlight.
Hard work, hard work. Maybe you can see it on the inside of the. Now we've got it in a dip net. Another great tool to have with you for out herping, trying to find some frogs, is a dip net. All right, one more gray tree frog. It's not calling right now, but you can hear some calling in the distance. We're getting too close to this one. It will stop calling if we get too close and disturb it. Another cool find down here in the wetlands of West Virginia. Let me see if we can't catch this thing. Get a little closer look. Yeah. got him. All right, girls, let's get right back up here. You ready? See if I can hang on to it. Can you see it? Got it.
Where is he?
He's right behind you. Wait, no, but he's
You got it?
All right, now we're ready. A little bit more excitement tonight. All right, now look at the back foot of this green frog. Doesn't have the toe pads like our other other tree frogs do. You can also see this is actually a bullfrog. Here's the American bullfrog. Looks very similar to the green frog that we can hear in the background calling. But this one, if you look at the dorsolateral line, this little fold of skin on the bullfrog goes from the eye over the tympanum and straight down. Woo!
He just touched you. I'll get him.
See him right there? He's right there, by your foot, Sheldon, right by your foot. Right there.
Okay.
He's a jumping.
Again, it's exciting. It's exciting, folks. All right, so we got the bullfrog again. Look at him, good coloration, like a little green around the face. Again, there's a lot of variation in color. They have a very distinctive juggarum call.
Darn it. Where is he?
He's right over there. See him jumping?
He's hiding right there.
Go get him, Dad.
Oh, that's. He's safe, because I'm not going in the briars to get him.
That's not right.
There he is.
He's a very jumping frog.
So you see, oh, it's hard. Also, when you pick up any type of amphibian, you want your hands to be wet so you don't dry them out, which makes it very difficult to hold on to these things. So my hands are wet. This thing is very jumpy. There you can get some coloration on his long back legs. Made for jumping.
Tell us again why he's a bullfrog and not a green frog.
So if you look at the difference between a green frog and a bullfrog, it looks very similar in size and shape and coloration. But if you look from behind their eye, you see this little fold of skin. It's called the dorsolateral line. Here, it just folds from the eye over the tympanum. So it just kind of circles around the tympanum, which is the eardrum-ish of a frog. So this dorsolateral line, or this line actually goes from the back of the eye around the tympanum. On a green frog, it would go straight down his side right here. So we see this line of a fold of skin, it goes right down his side. So that's one way to tell the difference between a green frog and a bullfrog, which we have right here. All right, let's try to get, my hands are starting to dry out. Let's see if we can't get him back into the water. All right, let's see what we caught this time. Now my hands are slick and this one is ready to jump. So, let's see. Yeah, he's ready. All right.
He's
Another
big.
one. Look at the back legs on this one. Another bullfrog, American bullfrog. Look at that. Again, you can see that lateral line, well, the lack of the lateral line, this fold of skin that goes around the tympanum instead of going down the side of its back. This tympanum is sort of the eardrum of the frogs. You can see that little circular disc right there, maybe. But very cool little frog.
Big frog.
Big frog, you're right. Okay. All right, ready to get this one back? All right, we're out here in the edge of the water. You can hear spring peepers calling. And every now and then you can hear that banjo thumb of a green frog. We're very close by. They're just hard to find, hard to see. We'll keep looking. We'll see if we can't capture one, but at least we can hear them and we can identify them by their call. All right. We're still out here listening. We hear spring peepers. We hear some green frogs. And I finally walked up on a green frog. This one's not calling, but we can at least get a good look at it. Lost him. All right, have another species of frog here. We've shown you pictures of the bullfrog, the American bullfrog. We've been hearing the sort of banjo thumbing, donk sound here in this wetland. That's a green frog. We actually have finally captured one. I can get it out without losing it. They are slippery and they are ready to jump. Okay, look very similar to the bullfrog, except for, if you can look on this side right here, this skin fold that goes straight down his back, sort of in between his back and his side. Much larger tympanum. So similar coloration as the bullfrog, except for that lateral line there, that skin fold that goes right down its side. On the bullfrog, it goes over the ear. So this is the green frog, and the lateral line goes right down his side, and this is the one that's making that sort of thump thump. Sounds like he's thumbing a banjo string sound out there. Just like that. That was 2 calls right there. So another one of our true frogs that you can find here in West Virginia. All right, everybody, another bullfrog pulled out here with my little helper. Look how long those legs are. That one is built to jump. Look at that one. So this is my helper, Alden Owen, junior herpetologist. Again, we can look at that fold of skin, see how it goes right over the tympanum and down. This is the American bullfrog. The green frog, it will go straight down the side. Very similar in coloration. All right. Remember, amphibian means dual life. So they will spend part of their life in water, part of their life on land. Still all sort of associated by it. They're also dual life because they do metamorphose. So a baby frog looks like this. This is either a green or a bullfrog. I really can't tell, but you can see how large that is. That's about 2.5, 3 inches long. So these may take a couple of years to actually metamorphose and turn into a frog, but you can see, looks like we have some tiny legs forming there. So it won't be long now. They will actually start metamorphosing into a frog. So, let me put this one back in the water before it's not too long. So driving back from a night of listening for frog calls and looking for frogs, we actually saw an American toad hopping across the middle of the road. So it was right here in the entrance of our neighborhood, in the middle of the road, sat a big old American toad. We've been hearing them trill, their trill call all night, but we never really found one. They were a little bit too far away in the water, and we couldn't find them. But this one was crossing the road. We found it. We'll get a closer look in just a minute. But it just goes to show that that's a great opportunity, especially after a light rain in the evening, to drive around and see if any of these things are actually out and about crossing the roads. Be careful, don't run over them, and try to stay out of the road and be safe. But it's a great opportunity just to ride around, get out and do something, and look for frogs and toads that are hopping across the road. So let's take a look at this one. So it's a little bit different from the frogs that we've seen. These look a little bit drier. We have 3 species of toads in West Virginia. Their skin looks a little drier. They can tolerate drier conditions, but they're still closely tied to water. So let me see if I can get a good look at that back foot there. You can see it's kind of a little bit shorter, stouter body, broader head. If you look for an American toad, you can see these dark splotches on its back, the dark patches, and you can see the warts per spot. And so you count those for the American toad, they only have 1, maybe 2 warts per spot. The Fowler's toad is another species found here in West Virginia, will have multiple warts per spot. So that's one way you can tell these apart. But a cool little species we can find here in West Virginia, relatively large species, that has that high-pitched trill call that we can hear. Now, toads are shorter and stouter, shorter legs, sort of stouter legs. They're sort of a bit closer to the ground. They can still hop. You can see those, it's stretching out its legs there quite a bit. But let me put this one down and see, so you can get a better look at it. I hope you've enjoyed this short little video, and I hope you enjoyed looking at some of the frogs and listening to some of the frogs we found. This would be a great opportunity for you to get out and learn more about our frogs and toads of West Virginia. There are numerous books and CDs where you can learn more about the natural history of these animals. You can listen to their calls. Many online resources will help you identify the frog calls, give you examples of their calls, and help you identify them. So get out, explore, learn a lot about our animals of West Virginia, and get out at night and just see what the night has to offer in terms of the frogs and toads. Enjoy, be safe, take friends and family out there with you, and happy frog hunting.
Thanks, Sheldon. Who knew our backyards could be so educational and fun? And now let's hop on over and read a book. How about A Frog in the Bog?
Hello everyone, I'm Alden Owen, and today I'm going to be reading you a book. It's called A Frog in the Bog by Karma Wilson and Joan Rankin. There's a frog on a log in the middle of a bog. A small green frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. He flicks one tick as it creeps up a stick. One tick in the belly of a small green frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. And the frog grows a little bit bigger. He sees two fleas as they leap through the reeds. One tick, two fleas in the belly of a frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. And the frog grows a little bit bigger. He spies three flies as they buzz through the skies. One tick, two fleas, three flies, oh my, in the belly of a frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. And the frog grows a little bit bigger. He glugs four slugs as they slink through the sludge. One tick, two fleas, three flies, oh my, four slugs, ew, ugh, in the belly of a frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. And the frog grows a little bit bigger. He inhales five snails from their heads to the tails. One tick, two fleas, three flies, oh my, four slugs, ew, ugh, and five slimy snails in the belly of the frog on a half-sunk log in the middle of the bog. What a hog, that frog. And the frog grows a little bit bigger. Then, that log with the frog in the middle of the bog starts to rise, and the frog sees eyes. And the frog sees claws and a big set of jaws and a mouth like a crater, and the frog screams, "Gator!" With his mouth open wide, all the bugs inside start to crawl and fly and slither and slide. Out come five snails from their heads to their tails. Four slugs, ew, ugh. Three flies, oh my. Two fleas, dear me, and one tiny tick. And right in the middle of his holler, that frog grows a whole lot smaller. See you later, says the gator, as he romps through the swamp, because the itty-bitty frog isn't big enough to chomp. Now, the bugs in the bog keep away from the frog, and the frog never sits on a half-sunk log. And that's the end. Hope you guys enjoyed the book. Happy frog hunting!
Boy, that frog book was a tongue twister, but boy, was it also fun. Let's go back on the farm with Farmer Jody and learn all about his sheep.
Hey there, I'm Tasha Harris. I am the WVU Extension Agent in Upshur County, and today we are on Jody Carpenter's farm. He is the WVU Extension Agent in Barber and Randolph County, and we're going to learn a little bit about his sheep.
Today we're here on Carpenter Farm. We have 25 ewes, which mean mamas, and we have 2 rams, which are daddies. We are in the middle of lambing season, which means they're giving birth. So we just had a ewe lamb this morning while we were here at the farm. So they can either have a girl or a boy. So we call that a ewe lamb or a ram lamb. Now let's go take a look in the barn.
So just like every other animal, we have to feed them. What are you doing there, Jody? You feeding the sheep? So he said ewes. Ewes are the mommy sheep. And then you see the little babies.
So this is a creek feeder. So all that means is the babies can get in and eat, and the mamas can't. So that just gives them a jump start on growing. Another thing we have to do is we have to feed them hay, which is dried grass. So we just use our pitchfork and we put that into the manger so they have access to it.
As you can see here, lambs are actually born with tails, and we actually dock those tails with a band, and that's just for cleanliness reasons.
This is a lamb that's her tail was already falling off, so we just put a rubber band on it. It does not hurt the lambs. It numbs them a little bit. So lanolin is a natural oil that is produced by those lambs. So when you touch it and you feel kind of oily and greasy, that's that. We use it as a byproduct in makeup.
Lambs are also known as a dual purpose breed, and the only thing that means is that they can be used for more than one thing. So their wool can be used to make clothing, hats, and gloves. Their milk, if you have dairy type, can be used to make milk, and then of course you can also use their meat to eat. So here is the loin, which is where your lamb steaks come from. This is known as the leg of lamb. Your rack or your ribs for your lamb, and then of course you can cut out a few steak or a few roast, and then the rest of it can be ground into a burger or lamb sauce.
So this is Tammy. She is a livestock guardian dog. I got her to help protect my flock against predators, coyotes, bears, other wild dogs. So thanks for coming to my farm today and joining us down on the farm for our farm tours.
Hey Energy Express friends, did you have a fun day? I know I did. Well, we'll see you again soon for more fun and more activities. Have a good one. Bye-bye.